Brown make his grand appearance.
Because his clock says.
This one says he still has 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's not far off, actually.
It's 4 minutes according to satellites, but
I imagine that for D.
You like these chairs, don't you?
Sure. Feels right at home in them.
That's right here.
Usually a couple of them. One
Hey,
night
well, we got a
my
couple
office
minutes
had
we're
a
killing. Whose
PVC pipe
whose
holding
terms
them
are up?
as they collapsed.
It's 3.
Oh,
3.
I know I have it on my computer. For you guys, I don't know off the top of my head.
Could we find that
They're
out
supposed to
before we-
file in
before we leave
December?
tonight?
Go for it, we have a few minutes.
What's that?
No, January 20. Oh, okay.
I just wondered whose terms was up.
Oh, where it's in
Well,
here.
we have missed that.
It's always in
cut
here.
off.
That's last year's. I won't have it. Will I have it?
Yeah, well,
Well,
it'll say who's elected
you'll
last
have
year.
you'll have the date on,
Yeah.
usually they put the date on the end of each buddy's thing there, whatever.
Whose term is up? Your term.
Yeah.
We
I
gotta
don't
find
know.
our page. Oh, there it is.
Is my term up?
No.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not.
Oh, yeah, it is. My term is up, see you later.
I think his term was up.
February meeting,
Your term up? Your term up this year?
No, I,
Boyer's 17. Peter's 17.
yeah.
Where are you?
Woodrow 15. Mr. Brown 16.
Who's the other 15?
I'm
No.
16.
no,
We missed somebody?
Robbie first.
Robbie.
been here long enough.
Who took his
Oh,
seat?
Time for some new blood.
No fun without you guys. I seem to remember I only ran because you were gonna hang around.
I hung around, I'm
Yeah.
still here.
Yeah.
So he
You up,
was
Brian?
Did he
I don't know.
sit
He just
in?
he came in last year.
Me and Roby used to run together.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roby's up. Did you grab a book, Larry?
I just gave him,
Okay.
there's excellence in there.
Yeah, I put 4 in there.
So who- It's just 2?
What happened to
Two
the
more?
cockroach
I believe
killers?
so.
Me and Roby,
I guess we killed them all last year.
They had 3 in the paper.
Job well done.
Newspapers more than 6.
They're always wrong.
Yeah. You figure they have papers that big, they can at least get it right.
It's a lot. It takes a lot to check the facts.
Yeah.
That would be real reporting.
I like the guys, you picked up a drunk driver, then got arrested for stealing his own car back out of the impound.
I had a teacher that he was leaving a McDonald's. And he had a drink in his hand. And he got in a car. The paper posted, school teacher, accident, drinking and driving. It wasn't very funny. It almost cost the guy his job. He was somewhat upset.
I imagine.
I guess it's a copy. Yeah.
Who is
being 6:30, January 5th, 2016, I will open the Town of Milton Planning Board meeting. First thing on the agenda is public comment. Seeing we don't have any public, there is no comment. On to number 2, approval of meeting minutes for December 1, 2015.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? None heard, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. The next on the agenda is a discussion of Exit 17 Commerce Center. Bob, we're trying to figure out what you got there. What's been approved and what isn't? This is, I have handed out a packet. Everything we could find was only in minutes.
Quick comment, going in order that everything is dated, the first issue is was the approval of the storage facility, which I believe you sold, right, Bob?
That's a different.
Right, that's, right.
But still, with him selling it, the conditions of the approval will stay with that property, and the conditions of the approval were no outside storage.
Exactly.
So my feeling is that there's no outside storage. The new owner needs to be notified by the town
Yep.
that he's in violation
Yep.
of the planning board's approval. He's got 30 days to get him off the property, or the town start fining him, period. It's cut and dry. There's no outside
He's the
storage.
second owner since I sold it.
All right.
Well, whatever, it can be the
It was
100th
foreclosed
owner,
on.
it's still gonna be the conditions on record, and that's no outside storage, so.
Yep.
So I
I
think that
thought
piece
we
of
had,
it.
I'm not throwing rocks in the spokes, but, the second guy went ahead and paved it. I told him he couldn't pave it, because I couldn't pave it. I think it was on the plan that it couldn't be paved for pervious.
Services, I know that was in the discussion with the approval, yeah.
Again, but that would have been,
You know,
It was
I
here.
don't care.
But I think
I
if
have
the
my own
town's
thoughts.
trying to clean the property up and they're
Right.
concerned with the outside storage,
Yep.
it should be just a simple matter of notifying the current owner that he's in violation.
Yep.
And
it will be done.
in 30 days, stop finding him.
Some of that stuff's been there from the previous owner. There's actually it was almost a new Chevy pickup that was parked there. Somebody went to service or something, and it's still there.
So we went,
So that's the easiest one.
that's the easiest one. What we did was we went from, this started in 1999, I guess is when it was first all started.
That's when I did the storage.
Right.
I bought that property that the storage is on.
We went back to 1999 and all we could find were minutes. So we just kept going through and highlighted what pertained to the Bob's property. I don't know if anybody's read.
Yeah, you want me to start? I'll give you my take on my hours worth of reading.
Yeah?
Is that, we've issued approvals for Bob's facility. Vehicles on the property were brought up a number of times. Again, not having the plans in front of us, it references 20 parking places a number of times. It was kind of vague at times about how many cars he was gonna work on, 10 cars a day, how long they were gonna be there. Really, there was no ever limitation on vehicles, never really got a handle on it through a number of planning board meetings and ZBA meetings. But from what I can see, that is the one clear offense, and it's been mentioned a number of times, not only in the planning board minutes, but in the ZBA minutes, is no unregistered vehicles. That is as plain as day. It's on there numerous times, and you're in total violation because you've got a bunch of unregistered vehicles on the property. So whether, what the other board members want to say about how many cars and what's he working on, again, that is really vague and iffy, but the unregistered vehicles is just cut and dry. No unregistered vehicles on the property. And you get what
I have unregistered vehicles.
your approval says no unregistered vehicles on the property.
All right.
That's kind of my take on it.
Yeah.
Anybody else can chime in.
Well, in one of the ZBA meetings, where we gave Mr. Akins his approval, and that was just for that one building.
Do you want me to find that thing again?
Yeah, we had it somewhere here.
It's the planning board, actually. No, it was zoning board.
It was ZBA.
September 8th, 2004.
September 8th, 2004. Rent one day.
See, you should have highlighted like that.
Right.
Here, next one. These ones.
Speak up.
Yeah, and it was only for just that one building.
Right there.
Yep. In an existing 5-unit commercial building, and that's the one that Akins is in. And that's the only I can find for approvals anywhere for those buildings out back
So it's-
there.
We actually tear them down.
Do you have any
I have
copies?
$11,000 a month mortgage, and if I don't have any tenants, I can't pay the mortgage. My taxes this year on those 4 pieces of land is over almost $39,000. Almost $39,000 for those 3 empty lots and that 3 acres with the buildings on it. It goes up, last month my mortgage went up $130 a month because of the taxes went up, and they're gonna go up a couple $100 a month this year, easily.
The point is, Bob, you only get approval for one building.
Well, what do you want me to do? I have tenants, you know what Atkins pays for rent? $35 a month more than he paid in 2004. Right now, he just paid his September rent.
We don't, again, that's not a problem with the planning board. I'm asking if you had any more, because this is a jumbled mess. It really is. I don't know, coming or going, because it's 16 years this has been going on. Mr. Brown?
Let me do both sides of the street. The plan and the way Mr. Frizzell, and Bob for that matter, worked things out, moving from one step to one step, the subdivision of the properties, and the original description from my own personal notes of 11/2/2002 for the relationship of the buildings in front to the concealment of the buildings in the back was an elegant plan. And I am sorry for the problems that came after it. That's the one side of the street. The other side of the street is the warts that you all know that I have, which is back in '99, when I think Chris Jacobs was the agent. There would be no plans for added greenery. The disturbed areas along Route 75 frontage will be loaned and seeded. And again, in 2002, there will be 5 buildings, which will consist of 3 contractor storage sheds and 2 office buildings. L. Brown stated that the board requires, as opposed to requests, that no site work be done before approval is granted, and he feels there should be a vegetative buffer. So those are my wards. If I remember correctly, the extreme western property, and I don't know exactly how much discussion is of that at the moment, was also not to have any vehicles on it except active contractor vehicles. There would to be no outside vehicle storage at the Route 7, at the exit 17 stop and store, whatever it's being called at the moment. And then my count was up to about 23, but I did not want to be trespassing and couldn't do a better eyeball. And I think that the school district has been treated fairly for the expenses that it has. So there's a third side of the street. And my own, we are looking to get hammered on both the school district budget and the town budget. And my question is always what can be salvaged and what's most fair.
The school is probably gonna not need a half of that space when the separation takes place. Right now, I'm trying to refinance, and I don't know if I'm even gonna be able to.
The issue is not the front building at all, Bob. That was approved for retail, commercial, et cetera. That, we had all the approvals, it's the buildings in the back. And the,
I know right now there's more cars than there ever was because junk prices are gone through the floor. And
And I think,
That's what some of them
you
depend
know, a lot
on.
of your complaints from the town, people that ultimately work back to us is from that. I mean, you know, I think you could fly a little better under the radar gun if you could just tackle that one issue.
I've come down how many times, Bob, in both cars?
and it's always the same guy that's complaining.
Well, it doesn't matter, it's a complaint. It has to be taken.
So who's he making the complaint against? Is he making a complaint against one tenant or all the tenants? Or is he just particularly taking it out on one tenant that he
No.
feels he may be right or wrong on?
He does not, he just complains about the fact that there's unregistered, uninspected
It's an
vehicles.
eyesore to him to have to drive by there.
Well, again, it's, here, it says you can't. And it's your property, not theirs.
Isn't there a state statute saying you cannot have more than two?
Well, this is commercial.
I know.
Yeah, right. Two, one unregistered, uninspected vehicle.
So if I had 3 or 4 cars, unregistered cars in my yard, you're gonna come down heavy on me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean,
I don't, but again, then this board cannot make a decision as to what done. It has to go through code enforcement. But I wanted everybody to see, you know, because Dana and I spent, I don't know how many hours, mostly Dana, just trying to compile what we could
you
find.
did a wonderful job.
It was really fun.
And again, you can see the timelines, you can see the steps, you can see the ambiguity in the fact that, you know, it wasn't spelled out exactly how many cars you could work on at any given time, where exactly they're parking. Again, the only real strength in anything in this whole mess is the unregistered cars. And you know,
Yeah.
I think that would be the place to start.
And it probably pretty much hold it up and stop it too. You got all, just get them out behind the buildings. Any more discussion?
I don't have any discussion, I'll see what I can do. I mean, I got a new tenant that all he does is, he doesn't, he's not even there during the day, but he does fix cars and sell them. You know, late model stuff that I'll have to see how many of them are his.
Yeah, I was surprised how many late model cars didn't have.
Well,
any
there's
plates.
that
Come
guy.
there, we'll buy it, whoa.
No. Nesbitt's son
Yeah.
works at Colony and he gets paid for working Saturdays with cars or something, and so he has a car, he'll have it there for 2 or 3 weeks and then he'll sell it and then off it will go and he'll get another one. I mean, you know.
Let's see if we can have something done before the end of this month.
How many businesses there work on vehicles?
Well, there's not really a couple of them aren't really businesses, they're kind of part-timers, and, Atkins works on vehicles, and the guy that's been down the other end of Building E forever, since I built it, he does a little body work. And, but he doesn't keep an abundance, I think he's got 1 or 2 cars there that he's been working on, he just finally painted one of them, he's been working on it for years. That orange Grand Cherokee.
Yeah.
You know, I have stuff there that's not registered because I get stuff I can't fix. I just got a rear end from Korea for my loader. It's been in my shop with the rear end out of it for a year. Finally found the rear end. They just put it in today.
Let's see what we
See
can
I
do.
I will.
Any more
What,
comments?
what is the enforcement?
That'll be,
Right,
that'll be through code, through there.
for you, code enforcement?
Yeah, I will be issuing a cease and desist, giving him 30 days.
Is there a fine attached to it?
Yes, it'd be $75 per car per day until it's cleaned up.
It gets to be heavy.
So where's this all come about? So there was a,
We're not an enforcement board.
right, so someone came up with this, well, because all I have have anything that triggered this, all I have is the minutes, everything that pertained to it.
There's-
The complaint,
Right,
the continual complaints has triggered it.
Right.
And we're just referencing back the minutes of the planning board meeting and the conditions of approval. And the conditions of approval are no unregistered vehicles.
and that's what the complaint was based on.
Yeah.
I don't know, I haven't seen the complaint.
Which is, the fine is for a commercial site as well as a
Anything,
residential.
right.
For instance, if I
Yeah.
had more than one unregistered vehicle in my yard, then.
I would hit you for $75 per day per vehicle after the 30 days.
So what's good for me should be good for anybody else, right?
That's right. Next on the agenda is discussion of a sign order update.
This and done then.
Yep. Thank you, Bob.
Anytime.
Guys do your homework?
Yeah, want me to start with my 2 cents worth?
Of course.
Okay. After reading all this and then going online and reading Reed versus the town of whatever the hell it was,
Gilbert.
Gilbert, yeah. Basically, it breaks down, they had 23 different categories of sign regulations. We only have 12. The Supreme Court only found fault with 3 of their 23. Ideological signs, temporary directional signs, neither of them 2 we have. The third one they found issue with was political signs. However, our political signs are regulated by New Hampshire RSA, which I think New Hampshire would have to deal with that issue, not the town of Milton. So after reading the do's and don'ts, I don't see how you could write a sign ordinance and comply with the do's and don'ts. So based on the fact that they only found fault with 3 categories, 2 of which we don't even have, I would almost tend to leave our sign ordinance the way it is.
Yeah.
You
I,
can keep
But I'll-
pushing it until you get done in March.
I didn't mention that. Well, I mean, I would like to see somebody write a sign ordinance that can do all these do's and don'ts. I mean, there's gonna be no meat and potatoes into anything they say. I mean, I just can't get my head around it when I read all these do's and don'ts and tried to apply it to each of these. It just, I couldn't get it.
well, that's actually a good segue into what I have 2 different points. This, prepared by the Municipal Association document, the second to last paragraph talks about road signs, mailbox sort of stuff, and that's actually a bigger area than we allow in the ordinance. And it implies that it's an additional one. So I would have thought that we could basically just plug that in. But I do read that as a separate requirement, even though when we talked about the ordinance in the first place, when we talked about home businesses, when we talked about the businesses down there, the implication that we had was the sign we're allowing you to have has your address. So whether that would be, we could subsume this requirement into the 2-foot one we already have. Either just expand it to 3 or carry this one and say You know, and that depends, I think, on whether we believe that that is an additional requirement, or whether we could include. Okay, we gotta change the size though. And the other, which is subsection J of paragraph 3, if you're looking for it. So if we thought we could just change that 2 to a 3, and be covered, that'd be okay, or we use the wording that they've used. Now, if this is just a suggestion,
Why do you feel it's gonna be changed to 3 feet?
well, that depends on the authority of this enclosure that we have. You know, now this is, I mean, this is from the municipal association.
You're talking about the do's and don'ts page?
Yeah, yeah. We go to the very end of that, second to last section.
Oh.
They,
page, oh,
the
sorry,
second to last
yeah.
paragraph. That much more clearly describes,
I got
your
you.
address.
Yeah,
okay, and what's on your mailbox, what's next to a mailbox. And so either, now, this may be just their suggestion, I don't know that.
Yep.
Are you saying
Okay.
36 square inches?
Yeah,
Because that little thing for us is less than 36 square inches. So the.
Less than, right.
Yeah, so the
Okay.
2 feet would be,
Less than.
less than, so that would cover it.
Again, out
Okay.
of the 23 categories that the town had, they only found fault with 3 of them. 20 of them were fine. Two of them we don't even have, and I think our political one stands on its own because of the New Hampshire RSA. Larry must have done some reading.
That in addition, about the one thing they didn't talk about in detail is there are, in addition to having your mailbox 36 inches back from the edge of the road, the postal authorities also have specific requirements of what you may and may not do to a representation of the, shall we say, President of the United States by disfiguring him anatomically. You don't do things like that for your mailboxes and support, if I'm being oblique enough. So you can crank that into the equation as well. But I was looking for what Dana had mentioned to me earlier. I was looking for some great God-driven bolt of lightning that was going to destroy everything we had. And you said it.
Yeah, it's not that.
I've got in my vast files. It's about so thick and it's beautiful. It is the city of Burlington, Vermont. Their sign ordinance, which includes not only the sign, but what shall be done if you're opening the sidewalk under a sign, and what signs will be in place while you're doing construction within the city. They have everything lined out in terms of whether it is facing this way or this way, how high it is, and signed. It's a beautiful document, and I pity the poor person
Yes.
who has to.
Great property, that's all he does, is just signs.
Yeah, it is a beautiful document. It would drive you and Pat both to early retirement.
But it regulates what time the guy that's putting the sign up had breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for what I looked over it, it doesn't seem to be something that somebody would come and start hammering on us because we had too many unregistered signs to if that joke makes sense for
Yep.
for what we just did, outside of perhaps Mr. Lover.
Yes. Actually got one this week from Mr. Lovell. And his favorite person again.
There is the recommendation from the municipal association again too, that the code enforcement officer issue a sticker for every temporary sign. And with a date stamp, so that we could tell when they are obsolete.
That's a good idea.
We reference
It
10
goes
days.
at 2 days a week schedule I got.
I'm sure you
That's the way to
me.
reduce the budget, too, revenue.
More seriously, one of the mosquito bite sources of revenue that the town overlooks for both compliance, so that the lighting that comes with the sign is not ratcheted up against the original interests of the
Yep.
of the planning board, is to have a yearly sign fee, because it is visual pollution. But just don't use my name.
Yeah.
They'll know, Larry.
I think
Yeah, that's good.
there's still
Just-
gunfire coming.
That's on the camera.
Just smile at the camera.
We already know, Larry.
I think there is still gunfire coming in on that from
Yes, I think
years
so.
ago.
Any more on the sign ordinance?
But on, and the last thing, if the legislature, in its infinite wisdom, ever got out from under, do not take down a sign that is up on a telephone pole unless you are the code enforcement officer.
I can't touch them. Police is the only ones who can take them off telephone poles.
Yeah.
It's private property.
Even though they are illegally placed,
Yeah.
yeah. And-
Can't
and
do it.
That,
I can't do it legally.
no, as gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. As-
you're the one, huh?
It's considered
as
private
Laff-
property.
Yeah.
Only at midnight then.
Yeah.
You're the one, huh?
Laugh-In used to say, "That's done, Goldie."
Yeah.
So is everyone, am I hearing everyone is in agreeance to leaving the sign orders alone, or
Oh, yeah.
do we want to continue looking at other model things that have been adapted since this do's and don'ts come out?
We haven't been sued for anything in violation of sign. Nobody's taken us to court over anything.
This Reed versus Milton,
Yeah.
based on what I read, couldn't take place because we didn't have that piece of it,
Yep.
so.
It's mostly it's because of like a lot of theirs was about the message of the sign that they were like so strictly enforcing, which is the problem. So if it's not like, if we're not targeting signs based off their message, I think
Which we
that
don't.
right, then I think that
And they had a big
things should
issue
be okay.
with the temporary signs. Temporary directional signs was a big issue in that case, and that the church was putting their signs
Mhm.
up and leaving them up. Putting them up too early, leaving them up in direction how to get to the next, because they used to, church wasn't always at church. Church was here, church was there, church was there. So every week, they used to put up a bunch of signs around town telling them which place to go to for church. And that's what this whole thing is all about. And neither of them two categories we even have it, so.
They give the whole meaning a holy roller, doesn't they?
Yeah,
Pretty much,
I
yeah.
really think, we're fine.
I don't see any need in it, if that's the consensus.
But I
I'll hear-
appreciate that you took the time to look it over and are aware of this present cases going on.
Reed versus Gilbert, town.
Mhm.
Town of Gilbert, years ago.
Arizona.
Arizona, yeah.
Oh, Arizona, is it? Okay.
Any other business before the board? Anybody got anyone? What you got, girl?
I got probably the last expenditure report. You used about 75% of your budget last year. No one went to training, so guys, think about it. Want to go to some training next year? There's money for probably in next year's budget as well.
The only other businesses that I'm going, oh, you get, oh,
Yeah.
Just one other thing, I was wondering how they were coming on the master plan.
Me?
No, no.
Us. We haven't gone anywhere with it for a while.
Yeah. Are we going to progress with it?
We do not retain a planner anymore.
Right. Oh,
So I'd like to maybe have Bruce, see if we can get Bruce to come back around.
historically, the planning board between January and February doesn't accomplish goals like that because you're gonna sit two new bodies in March, and usually they undertake that starting in March.
Wow.
Typically, you know, that's what the board has done, you know, kinda, February's been pretty easy, getting ready for the new faces in March.
You're not going to give us the exit report?
Yeah, we gotta do it.
My other business is that I'm not gonna sign up again this year, so I will be leaving the board after the February meeting.
Like how it looked like you were reading that off of something, like,
Take his book back.
Yeah.
yeah, I might,
chair.
So hopefully we can find some new blood out there.
Yeah, no, you and you have a Roby seat, right? Yeah.
I'm 2018.
You're 2018.
No, so, again, I think Bob's been
Yeah.
filling in
Yeah.
for Roby, so,
Right.
you know, again, mine and Roby's
if you're gonna
will both
leave,
be
you
up.
have to find your own replacement first before you can leave.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
screen them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then be able to talk about actions from 1999 with it, too.
you have
Yeah.
to divulge all of the information that you know from all of the years you've been on it.
The alternative is leave your phone on. We'll call you.
That'd be easier.
Yeah, have you tried to call Charlie yet?
Yeah.
Is Mr. Graham still gonna be available?
I believe so.
I noticed that.
I know, usually
He's an alternate.
Right.
He's not actually,
Well, he
he's
usually
been,
attends the meetings. whether or
he
not-
does.
he could run for Bob's seat.
I just saw him Sunday.
Yeah.
I just saw him last night and he said he was gonna be here.
Well, yeah, Sunday sounded like he was gonna be here, too.
That'd be nice.
He could easily be on his way home from Concord as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, that's
true.
Concord stuff, you know.
Or maybe he's not even on his way home.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That,
That sounds all I got on there.
Make a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
and second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
thank you for the month's warning, so we can remember to say nice things.
I was talking to my wife before we come to the meeting, I was trying to debate, I says, you know, my term's either up this year or I know it's next year. But I said, we're